Hello everyone, Pre-Calc lesson 63 here, circles and completing the square. Completing the square, yay! We are going to do it a lot, okay? A lot. So what we are going to do is we are going to now complete the square twice, okay? I'm just going to show you with examples. So example 1. Okay, we have this equation, x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 8y plus 21 equals 0. And we want to write the equation of this circle in standard form. List the radius and center. And graph. Okay, all the things. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to group my x and I'm going to group my y. So I have x squared minus 6x plus y squared plus 8y. I'm also going to move my 21 over. Okay, now I'm going to complete the square for x. So b over 2, b over 2 squared. This goes in parentheses, that's what we add. So my b is negative 2, divide it by 2 is negative 3, square it is 9, so I add 9 here, and golden rule, do unto one side as you do unto the other. Now I've completed the square once, I'm going to complete it again for y. Do unto y as you do unto x. So my yb term is 8, divided by 2 is 4, squared is 16. So I have plus 16 and plus 16. Now I have this portion and this portion. I can factor both. So this becomes x minus 3. What's above the parentheses goes in here, squared, plus y plus 4 squared. Again, this goes in here, equals, and then on this side, I just add up all the things. It equals 4. Now we remember the standard form of the equation of a circle. If you didn't remember, you should. I'm writing it like this. Okay, so this tells me my center, right? Normally my center is HK, so my center is 3, negative 4. And my radius, I have r squared, so my radius is 2. You do have to specifically label what your center and radius are. I'm asking for that. It says list it. And then we graph it. So my center, I have 3, negative 4. Okay, now my radius is 2, so basically I'm going to pick a point north, south, east, and west of my center, and I do it 2 above. So negative 4, 2 above gives me negative 2. 2 to the left gives me 1. If I go down 2, it gives me negative 6, and 2 to the right gives me 5. And I draw my circle between those points. Okay, notice I've labeled points. You could also label your center like this, okay? And there you have it. I have completed the square and I've graphed my circle. Okay, let's do it again. I know completing the square was really hard in Algebra 2. That's okay. But if you have not mastered it yet, you need to. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing, general form of the equation of a circle, list radius, center, and graph. So I group, group my x and y terms together and move that 6 to the other side. I complete the square for x, so I have b, which is 4, b over 2, which is 2, and b over 2 squared, which is 4. So I add 4 to both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and just factor the x now, x plus 2 squared. Then I'm going to do b for y, which is negative 6, divided by 2 is negative 3, and b over 2 squared gives me 9, so I add 9. So I will have y minus 3 squared, and then this gives me 7. Bum, bum, bum. That's okay that it's 7. Now, so my center is negative 2, 3. My radius is the square root of 7. Because this is r squared, so if r squared equals 7, r equals the square root of 7. It's not plus or minus because we're not having a negative distance. And now I graph -2, 3. Now the square root of 7. Okay, the square root of 7 is approximately 2.65. So it's a little less than 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, little less than 3 here. I'll go up 2, a little less than 3. To the left 2, a little less than 3. And down 2, a little less than 3. There's my circle. Okay, again, same thing that I always ask, right? You label several points, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And that your graph is at least as good as mine. All right, I'm gonna do one more example. This one we have 2x squared plus 2y squared minus x plus y minus 3 equals 0. So I bunch my y's. Bunch my y's, bunch my x. I'll have 2x squared minus x plus 2y squared plus y equals 3. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide every term by 2 to make our lives easier. So this gives me x squared minus 1/2 x plus y squared plus 1/2 y equals 3/2. Okay, now I complete the square. So b over 2, b over 2 squared. This goes in parentheses, that's what we add. Do the same thing here. b over 2, b over 2 squared, parentheses, that's what we add. So b is -1/2, divided by 2 is -1/4, and squared is 1/16. So I add a 16th, I add a 16th. b is 1/2, divided by 2 is 1/4, square is 1/16. I add a 16th, I add a 16th. Now when I factor, I'll have x minus 1/4 squared plus y plus 1/4 squared equals, then I have 3/2 plus 1/16 plus 1/16 gives me 13/8. Yeah. Okay. Now, we are going to graph and we're going to determine our radius and center. Okay. So my center is 1/4 -1/4. Okay. And my radius is going to be the square root of 13/8. Now we have to simplify this. You get the square root of 13 over the square root of 8. We know that the square root of 8 is 2√2. So I multiply by √2 over √2. Okay, so this gives me the square root of 26/4. Okay, so now I graph. So I'm going to make my 1 a little bigger. So I have 1/4 -1/4, that's my center. And then the square root of 26 divided by 4 is about 1.2. So I go 1.2 in this direction. This is 2. I go 1.2 in this direction. 1.2 in this direction. Maybe here-ish. And there's my circle. Okay, so completing the square, super, super, super important that you are comfortable with doing that because we are going to be doing it a lot. So you may continue to practice that, but that's all for our video today.